Hi, I'm John Gullick, Manager of Government and Special Programs for Canadian Power and Sail Squadrons. And I'm here today with Jim and Gina Lee, Peterborough Squadron, Quinte District. We're going to have a little bit of a Q&A, and we're hopefully going to convince you and your squadron to offer recreational vessel courtesy checks like they've been doing for the last 5 years, now where CPS has been working in cooperation with Transport Canada. We're now going to ask a few questions to see what they think about the program. Gina, what is it about the RVCC program that interested you and your squadron in the first place?
Well, first, John, it's the opportunity to help people be safer on the water, especially recreational boats, smaller recreational boats where they have their families, their children on board. Secondly, it's a great opportunity to get some exposure for our squadron. We've managed to get some students in our classes from doing the RVCC, and we've certainly improved our visibility in the community.
Jim, have you got any comments about the training program?
Well, John, I understand there's a new training video being developed. One of the key issues, I think, is to make sure that when you approach boaters that you do so in a friendly manner. Quite often they're wary of somebody approaching them in uniform with a clipboard. They think that you're official government of some sort and that there's going to be some sort of penalty involved. So I would suggest that they open up the conversation with a comment about the weather, or how's the fishing out there, or I see you've got the kids on board, you're going out for a day on the water. It's sort of an icebreaker, and it makes them more at ease. The second thing is probably the fact that most people think that it's going to take an awful long time to do an RVCC check. And if it's a large boat, yes, it can take up to 30 minutes. But anything in the range of 20 feet, 9 meters or less, generally can be done in something like 10 to 15 minutes. It's very enjoyable. You get into conversations with these people, and once you start, they can't wait to show you the next bit of equipment that they have on board.
What do you think are the major benefits to the boater?
Well, to the boater, John, first of all is safety, knowing that they're out there with their families and they have all the safety equipment required if they have an emergency. Secondly is financial. If we can show them what they're missing, it's penalty-free. It'll save them from being penalized on the water if they're stopped by law enforcement. And also, it's an opportunity to answer some questions. They quite often have questions for us, even non-boaters. When we're taking a break, they'll come up and ask, how old do kids have to be to drive a personal watercraft? Do I really have to wear my life jacket? What are the real rules about drinking and boating? So it's a great opportunity to answer questions as well.
What have you both personally enjoyed the most about being involved with the Recreational Vessel Courtesy Check program?
Well, for me, John, it's being able to help people be safe on the water. That's what we do. And, you know, a lot of people, especially with smaller boats, have no idea what they need in their boat. So we've been able to help them. Sometimes we send them away with a shopping list, but at least we know we've helped them to be safer on the water.
Well, as Gina mentioned, those two items, and I guess aside from that would be the visibility that we gain for the squadron and CPS. Quite often, as a result of the RVCC checks, we're able to put students into our classrooms.
And now that we're done, we're going to go through a brief recreational vessel courtesy check so you see exactly how it's done.
John, as you know, Transport Canada has a number of different requirements depending on vessel size for your safety. So the first thing I'd like to see is your personal flotation device, your PFD. I see you wearing one. That's very good. You do know that if you're not wearing that, it's not a valid life-saving?
Yep, check his date. And his,
okay.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to have you do, John, is just check the inside. You'll see on the label there, your life jacket needs to be approved by Transport Canada, the Department of Fisheries, or the Canadian Coast Guard. If it's not approved by any of those three, it's not valid here in Canada.
Good to go.
Okay.
Okay, reboarding device.
Secondly, we check that you have a reboarding device, which is not necessary in this vessel. John, if someone were to fall in the water, do you have a buoyant heaving line that you could throw to them? Excellent.
Perfect.
That's one of the better heaving lines.
Watertight flashlight.
And for signaling purposes, I'd like to see if you have a watertight flashlight. And does it work?
It works!
Wonderful.
Yay.
Wonderful.
Great.
You should always make sure at the beginning of the season you put fresh batteries in it, and that possibly you carry another set of batteries with you in a watertight container.
Great. Flares? You want to talk about flares?
Flares. Although it's not necessary for this boat, because I know the waters you do boat in, John, you are required to carry flares if you're going to go into big open water. I see you have a flare gun,
Perfect.
And a nice watertight container.
Want to check the date?
Can I check the date on your flares?
No, you can't. I didn't bring it.
Okay.
So, do you have a manual propelling device on board?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
The thing I'd like you to check, John, is to see your anchor. Do you have an anchor on board?
I do.
Wonderful, that's great. It's good to see that you've got it all connected together and ready to go. Now, just in case you have an incident where you've got water coming on board, you have a bailing device.
Nice.
Wonderful, that'll do nicely.
Nice.
Sound signaling device, John. I see you have one attached to your PFD, and that's an excellent idea.
Great.
If possible, you should attach one to every life jacket that you have on board.
That's great.
Another one attached to the key.
Terrific.
Great.
And can we just check your navigation lights, John? If you don't mind, would you turn them on for me? That's great for your bow and your, what about your navigation? Oh, I see it there. Wonderful. Now, obviously in this type of water, John, I know you're not going to be out in any big lakes, but do you have a manual compass on board? Terrific.
Great. Okay, fire extinguisher.
And because this vessel has an inboard tank, John, do you have a fire extinguisher?
Oh, pretty.
Wonderful. And I see it's fully charged. That's terrific. Thank you. John, is this your first RVCC check?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's
okay. Proof of competency.
Can I see your operator's license? Terrific.
Great.
That's your proof of competency.
Oscar's got a
Do you
radio.
have the boat registration with you?
It's actually, there it is, attached to the back of the seat.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
That's wonderful. And I see it's a photocopy. That's always a great idea. Take a photocopy. You don't want to have the original on board in case something happens that the boat is stolen. And when you do a photocopy of it, write photocopy right across the front of it.
He's got no radio, so he doesn't need a license.
John, I see you have a handheld portable radio
he
there,
does
a
have a
VHF radio. So you are aware that you do need a license to operate that?
And that's also here behind this car.
Terrific. So I'd ask you just whether or not you're aware of a few of these items. Cold water safety.
Yes?
Do you file a sail plan?
I do.
You carry GPS or marine charts?
Carry up-to-date marine charts.
Okay, you do know that you're still required to carry paper charts?
Yes, these are paper charts.
Wonderful.
Paper charts.
I see you're aware of the communications radio, radar reflector.
I don't carry a radar
don't have one.
reflector on this boat because I don't boat outside of sight of aids to navigation.
Terrific.
Okay,
The only other thing we'll check is the registration is marked on the front of your boat properly. Great, nice 3-inch high letters.
Great.
Contrasting color.
And that's it, we're done.
And I think that's it.
Excellent.
You're compliant. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Here, I'll give you your copy and you can have your sticker. That's for you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
John, you are aware that this does not prevent the OPP from stopping you on the water?
I am.
But at least now you've got the comfort, the feeling that you've got the equipment that you need on board, and it shouldn't be a problem for you.
Thanks again. Really appreciate it. I've learned a lot.
Thank you, John.
Our pleasure, John.
Love it. So there you have it, right from the mouths of the people who have been offering the recreational vessel courtesy check to the boating public right from the beginning. Get on board, bring your squadron on, offer the boating checks, go to the website, check out the training program, sign up, and get involved in courtesy checks all across the country.